Good evening to those of you that are typing in the chat. I hope everyone had a wonderful Tuesday. This is a really interesting time in our society, and it's really interesting that we have the opportunity in this Be Your Own Bank movement to watch individuals participate in fear-based agendas and situations and issues that we oftentimes look at as being something that you have to contend with or something that could have a negative impact on you. And we're literally sitting in a position where we can use that to make money. And I think that everyone on these calls, everyone in the Be Your Own Bank movement, everyone who participates, you understand the value of where you are and what you have access to. But let's just think about something for a second. This movement is relatively new. This movement is about a year old. And just imagine what it's going to be like for us when we have the opportunity 10 years from now, to have been doing this for 10 years. Imagine what's going to happen in 20 years from now when you and your children have been participating in this market and have been using an opportunity to maximize your time by doing less and making more. We're literally changing the paradigm. I get it. I understand where you are. How do I learn the strategy? How do I get better? How do I make sure that I master moving averages? How do I make sure I really get support and resistance? How do I make sure that I understand the strategy backwards and forwards? How do I make sure I can analyze GBP, USD? I get that. But just for a second, let's just pause and let's just really show some appreciation for what we have right now. We are literally in a position where a bad market no longer exists. To us, it's just a market. It's just an opportunity for us to watch what individuals do, to let the individuals that run the market or make the market or participate in the market or allow the market to pay them. And all we have to do is just sit here and allow ourselves to make money just on what happens. Everyday life, political elections, oil crisis, national disasters. Now, of course, I'm not in any way making light of something like a disaster which claims lives and causes people to have to suffer. That's not my point at all. My point is that the way in which these macroeconomic variables impact the average company or the average person or even the average investor does not affect us, does not faze us at all, because we literally are in a position where no matter what happens in our society, we can make money. Hey, something happened in our society which has individuals feeling happy about our economy. Okay, let's ride the wave up. Something disastrous just happened which is making the individuals in our society feel fear and it's impacting the markets. Okay, let's just ride the market down. So literally, we have punched a ticket.
What's the date on this shit?
Please mute your phones. Literally, mute whatever it is, mute your Zooms. How about that? O'Neill, please mute your Zoom. So we literally have punched a ticket to no longer have to participate, to no longer have to be part of the fear pandemonium. Let me do two things tonight. First of all, let me say this. This particular conversation is referred to as a talk with the Finance Doctor, which means that the original intent was for me to address issues, topics, situations, personal finance, economic scenarios that you think are important. This is an opportunity for us to discuss the foreign exchange market, to discuss our ability to be able to do it, to do this, to participate in a $6.6 trillion industry, but to do so in a more relaxed, educational, question answering, relax your shoulders methodology, to go deeper than you'd be able to in an 8-minute video. That's the purpose. So when I have an agenda item for this particular forum, that agenda item is always secondary. What is primary is any questions you have, any situation that you want to ask about. So for the benefit of the 111ers and 222ers, personal finance is the only area of our society where the individuals who teach you about the products are the very same individuals that sell you the product. So this is a very unique, objective, non-product related discussion where you can ask about anything in the personal financial realm. You know how we always talk about in the Be Your Own Bank movement, economic equity? How do you get equity in your house? Well, you build up a large amount, or better yet, you pay off the loan, you pay off what you owe. So that's the part of the house that you own, it's your equity. What's economic equity? Economic equity is when you have an understanding that you can own the process. You can own the way it works. You can own the awareness and knowledge and application of the personal financial products that we all have to deal with. So this could be a really good opportunity for you to ask all the questions that you would normally ask a so-called financial advisor, so that you can be in a position of strength, so that you can be in a position of economic empowerment on way to having economic equity. So as I was about to say before I backed up and reminded you or introduced to some that this forum belongs to you, not me. So any questions that you have always come first. And as an add-on again for our 111ers, this is a forum in which I want you to walk in the power of the unmuted microphone. Meaning, when you let that little red diagonal disappear from your microphone on purpose, by design, and you ask a question, it makes this forum come alive. iPhone, do you have a question? Okay, so I want you to unmute your microphone, but to do it deliberately so that we can literally put ourselves in a position of strength, of asking some questions that can affect your household right now. But I thought this was about the Be Your Own Bank movement. It is. Because what do banks do that is different than the other industries in our society? Or better yet, what do banks do that is different than we individuals? They control the economic infrastructure. Just today, I asked a question of someone. So there's some money I'd like to take out of this particular account. How do I go about doing it? And they said, it's going to take 5 days for you to get your bank information verified. Then it's going to take 2 to 5 days for you to be able to get, I was certainly going to do that, to great minds think alike. So it takes 2 to 5 days for you to be able to get that money out of the account. Think about that. That's 10 days that the financial institution is controlling the process. And you know what they're doing with those 10 days. They're doing the same thing that you and I are doing right now. So Maxine just said, I had a financial advisor tell me that they're gambling with their money. I get that. But think about it like this, Maxine. Are we gambling with our money? No. We're simply investing it in a way in which we can make the money work for us. That's the same thing that banks are doing. They just happen to have millions and billions. When right now, let me say it again, right now, we have thousands. Right now, we have thousands. So the Be Your Own Bank movement is about controlling infrastructure. So there are two things I'd like to do tonight. The first thing I'd like to do is share my story. Because I think that there are enough new people on this Zoom tonight. that you can benefit from understanding a very important truth. Why is a gentleman with a PhD in finance and economics so excited about a vehicle like this? Why is he so devoted to it that he shows up on every single 5 a.m. call, every single 9 a.m. call, and comes and talks to us every single Tuesday and Thursday night for almost 2 years? I know earlier I said the Be Your Own Bank movement was about a year old, but that's simply because we're in a position where we gave these calls before we put a name on it. You know, Gerald Rogers, part of this leadership team, is an outstanding visionary. He's just excellent at being able to come up with concepts. And so as a result of that, that happens. Now, Walker, I see that you have a question, and I see that Maxine also has a question, but let me do two things. Let me first tell my story. My story will take 7 minutes at the most, and we'll have plenty of time to answer all the questions. And it is my preference that you ask the questions so we can hear your tone and we can understand what's going on. So here it is. 26 years ago, I received my PhD in finance and economics from the University of Florida. I was 26 years old. I had many goals. One of my goals at that time was I wanted to make sure that I would have the opportunity to invest in what I called exotic markets. What are the exotic markets? Markets that are outside of the stock market. You know what the main one was? Foreign exchange. So as a 26 years ago, as a 26-year-old, 26 years ago, I knew I wanted to invest in foreign exchange. So I did something that you may be familiar with. I overanalyzed, I overprepared. There was a business partner of mine who used to always say, it's better to be ignorant and on fire than to be informed and on ice. I put myself on ice, and I put myself in a position to learn how the foreign exchange market works. I took 10 years. 10 years of preparing myself, doing my due diligence, or doing my research. So now I'm 36 years old, put together a mastermind group with a large amount of individuals. We put together a business plan, foreign exchange investment group. We were on it. We put on our blazers and we went, some of them were females. We put on our sharp clothes and we went to a broker. Interesting, Maxine just asked me about a broker, but we went to brokers and we sat down and said, here is our business plan. Look, it's laminated. We're ready to invest in foreign exchange. And they said to us, in order for you to invest in the foreign exchange market, you have to have a minimum balance in your account of $1 million. I even had a broker to tell me I had to have $3 million in order to invest. So at that moment, I'm just going to be real with you, as positive as I am, I thought that my dream died. But in reality, it was just a dream deferred, because 2.5 years ago, I received a call from a friend of mine who told me about this opportunity. 13 minutes into this conversation, I said, there it is. This is the vehicle. This is not necessarily the vehicle for Craig Bythewood, but yes, I've been waiting 15 years to do this. But this is the opportunity for me to take this PhD in finance and economics and do more than what I've been doing up to this point, because up to this point, the only thing I could offer an individual was information, knowledge. Now I can give you a vehicle to get your family to the other side of wealth and abundance. Now, I really want you to hear this. I really want you to hear this. I really want you to hear this. Look at the parallel. Look at the comparison between me, my story, and you. It took me, or it would have taken me, $1 million to be able to participate in this market. $1 million. You can do it for $325. What an argument you can make to someone that you're sharing this information with. I've got a business partner with a PhD in finance and economics, and 16 years ago, he tried to do this, and they asked him for $1 million. This is only $325 to start. Now watch this. The first thing I did when I joined IM Academy was I vetted out the academy. Why? Because I'm an educator. So if you're going to sell an educational platform to teach people how to do foreign exchange, I'm going to vet it out and make sure that it is appropriate. And I was extremely impressed with the product. And I asked myself this question as I went through this vetting process. I said to myself, self, how many total hours would it take someone to study the academy and be ready to be able to trade? Now understand, when I did this vetting, there was no Be Your Own Bank movement. There were not 10 calls a week at that time. How blessed are you? So when I asked that question, I was told, when I asked myself that question, I told myself 10 total hours. Let's do the comparison one more time. So it will take you 10 hours at $325. It took me 10 years and $1 million. We really need to recognize what a wonderful vehicle we have right here. So please keep that in mind. Okay, the first person I saw with a question was Walter. Walter, can you please unmute your mic and ask me your question?
Yes, sir. My name is Walker, but no D.
That's an eyesight. So what can I do for you, sir?
Okay, I think I already have my question answered, but what I'm thinking is, I'm thinking about dumping some money into my account, 10 times what I have, so I can increase my lot size. However, my trades have not been 92% positive, more on the 50-50. And so I guess I'm thinking, you know, I want to strengthen my family and myself.
Yes, sir.
But I think I need to get a better ratio. I need to get more positive trades and become more of a master trader before I increase my lot size. What's your take?
Where are you calling from?
I'm in Fremont, California right now.
California, all right. So I understand your point totally. So please understand that lot size is about risk. And so at this point, there's no need of you increasing your risk. What you want to do right now is increase your skill. You want to get better about it. So at this particular point, the best thing for you to do is to continue to plug into these calls and recognize that if there's a 50% accuracy rate rather than a 92% accuracy rate, that's really about something that you could be doing differently. And one of the biggest things that affect that, time frame confluence. Time frame confluence. Making sure that whenever you do a trade, that you're moving with the swing of the market rather than against it. So this is not, in this form, this is not the time for me to try to figure out what the issue is. But I do know that increasing your lot size does not address the issue. So to me, and this is important, oftentimes it's not the answer that's the issue, it's the question. So by being man enough to ask that question and really being real about where you are, I didn't hear lack of skill. I heard lack of swag. I heard lack of confidence. And you're supposed to be. You just started. But oftentimes, all you have to do is keep going. African proverb, how does an ant eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Just take the next bite. Watch the next video. Do the next trade. So lot size has nothing to do with the very good scenario that you're in right now. And that is that you're just on your way up. I'm looking at a staircase right now. And my bathroom was broken recently downstairs. So I had to go upstairs to use the bathroom. And every time I went upstairs to use the bathroom, since I'm 53 and I still try to play flag football and basketball, my knee was hurting. So every time I went upstairs, there was a little bit of pain. But I had to go through the pain to get up there. I'm not gonna not go up there. You're not gonna not trade. You're not gonna make your family not be on the other side of wealth and abundance. You're just gonna go up the stairs. So you don't have to stop and say, oh man, why am I on this step? I just kept going. I didn't stop and say, oh man, my knee hurts. It's just a little twinge, but I kept going up the stairs. So understand that what I'm saying right now, just keep walking up the stairs, way more important than lot size or any of it. You're in the right place, doing the right thing with the right energy. Keep going.
Thank you, sir.
You're very welcome, Walker. Okay, now, Maxine, your question was next. If you could, actually, I'm gonna go ahead and address your question now, if you don't mind. So, how do you protect yourself against unregulated brokers? The question is, how do you protect yourself against unregulated brokers? I hope you all hear this answer. What you resist will persist. What you resist will persist. So the moment I walk into a situation with the energy of trying to protect myself, I've just said to the universe, hey, universe, send me something to protect myself from. So great question, because all you're trying to do is cross your T's and dot your I's. But what I would ask you to do is to focus on the latter part of your question. There's an old saying, the answer is in the question. So the last thing you put in the chat was, or does it matter? It doesn't. As long as you walk in the right energy, as long as you are claiming yourself to be a master trader and you are the signal in all of your trades in profit, that's all you need. So instead of protecting yourself against something, keep putting yourself in a position of strength and abundance and wealth so that it doesn't matter. Your words. All right. So there was also a question from, thank you, iPhone Tracy. There was also a question from Corey Kennedy. Okay, so Corey Kennedy's question was, what is the best thing to do with money in the bank that you don't need right away? You know, that's a question I've been getting asked a lot. Thank you, iPhone Tracy. So I'm actually going to address that on Thursday. Sometimes I do this on purpose. You know how you're watching your favorite show? And then they'll say, and then right before you want to know what happens, they'll just stop and do the cliffhanger and be like, oh, next week on your favorite show. That's what I'm going to do. I'm purposely going to start Thursday's call with the question of what do you do with the money? Why am I doing it that way? Because I think that's a very important question to make sure that you are in the right place. Now, I'm going to say this again. I'm going to answer all these questions, but this form does better when you unmute your mic and say your question. Let me tell you something real quick before I answer your question now. Collective consciousness. As a professor for 26 years, I've noticed that when people come into a room, all the energies aligned. And when one person asks a question, it reflects what everybody else feels. So when you type a question in the chat, there's a certain energy that gets lost. There's a certain edge, there's a certain tone that people hear in your voice that they connect with. I mean, would you go to a movie and sit there for 2.5 hours and just watch words across the screen? No, you want to hear the tone and the inflection and the different situations. So I know it just as well as you do. Money is about energy, and we have to feel comfortable with it. So every time you type in the chat, you take away some of the energetic pull that can help the other rectangles.
Excuse me, Doc.
Unmute that mic and ask that question. Ella, I'm listening.
Yes, yeah, like you said, I was glad they asked a question about the unregulated brokers, because I've heard people say, you know, oh, I know you told us about that, I heard, but having one broker specify for one thing, or trade one instrument, or having several brokers just in case you don't have all your money tied up in one, is that also a good strategy?
So I think that I'll take that very good question, I'll remix it a little bit. First of all, there's no such thing as a good strategy. There's only such thing as a good strategy for you. That's like me telling you, well, these are the qualities you should look at for your wife. Your qualities will be totally different than somebody else's qualities. But the topic of having multiple brokers is a very good question. And here's a very good way of addressing it. You know as well as I do that when we trade these indices, we need to have a cushion. We need to be able to be in a position where we can ride the wave no matter how big the waves are. So it is a legitimate strategy to have a separate broker's account, for your trade, for your trades on indices. But it has nothing to do with protecting yourself from anything. Again, we don't want to walk in that energy. We want to walk in the energy that because of the way I'm living, because I'm walking in my best life, I know that everything's going to walk out in my favor. There's a machine that I use at the gym, which is beneficial for, I have some circulation issues as a result of having a brain tumor 10 years ago. So when I go in this machine, the machine helps me do it, Planet Fitness. So I went to the machine today and I walked up and I said, hi, can I please use the total body enhancement? And they said, oh, somebody's walking out of it right now. That's my expectation. My expectation is that because I'm living right, because I want to touch 1 million families, because I'm doing the right thing, because I'm walking in the right energy, things will happen like that. That's how we want to look at it. Not, oh my God, I got to protect myself from unregulated brokers. No, The brokers are going to be perfect for me because I'm living my perfect life. I'm trying to touch 1 million families and learn this skill and put myself in the best position, and the universe will always agree with that. So in terms of having multiple brokers, it's a personal choice, but it is a good idea if you're going to trade indices to have a separate account just for that, just to make it easier for you to be able to handle the waves.
I appreciate that. Appreciate that.
You're very welcome. So it is now the bottom of the half hour, and we like to respect your time and make sure that we end the talk with the finance doctor around this time. But I also want to make sure that you all heard what I said. And that is that when we come here promptly on Thursday, we're going to address the question of where do we need to put our money? Because there's so many layers to that question. I want to make sure we understand all the layers. I've also said over the past few talk with the finance doctors, I wanted to make sure we began to talk about the macroeconomic variables so we can understand our Bloombergs and our business news and impact on the market to a greater extent. Well, to me, those two things go hand in hand. So we will absolutely, ooh, goodness, that question gave me goosebumps. So Walker just said in the chat, is there energy around this market? Heck to the yeah. And that is really what I was saying at the beginning, that you and I have an opportunity. You ever heard that saying, calm in the storm? So you see this vision in a movie or a TV show where there's this big tornado and it's just going around, but then there's one person just calmly walking through the eye of the storm, not affected. So yes, there's an energy in the market, but that energy gives us profit opportunity. And again, the energy of the market, no matter what it is, will always have an opportunity to profit. And if you just think about that futuristically, what a wonderful scenario to know. For the rest of our lives and for the rest of our children's lives, we are no longer subject to the movements of the market or the energies of the society. We can just find a way to profit, control our own infrastructure, and be our own bank. Okay, so this has been a talk with the finance doctor. I appreciate all the questions, appreciate all the energy that you all have put into this process. I appreciate the leadership of the Be Your Own Bank movement. And again, please make sure that you do everything in your power to attend the Orlando event. Please continue doing everything that you're doing and continuing to walk in the right energy. So on behalf of Ms. Tasha M. Dyer, and Mr. Gerald Rogers, and Miss Pastor Yolanda Axon, Pastor Axon and Axon, we thank you for being a part of the Be Your Own Bank movement. So this will officially end this call.